Our next story is about the global arms bazaar. It could see a shake-up soon. New challengers are rising to take on the incumbents. Tonight, we focus on South Korea. South Korea wants to be a major arms dealer, and today it took one step closer to that goal. A South Korean firm has won a contract. The name of this company is Hanwha Aerospace. It has won a deal to build infantry-fighting vehicles. And who is the buyer? The Australian Army. They will pay at least $3.4 billion for 129 infantry-fighting vehicles.
This is one of the largest projects in the history of the Army. The cost will be subject to detailed negotiations, but is expected to be between $5 and $7 billion.
Now, this is a big deal. It's been called a historic agreement, and I'll tell you why. It is for the first time that an Asian company has bagged a defense deal from Australia. Although Hanwha Aerospace is not a new player, it is South Korea's largest defense contractor. And this was not an easy bid to win. There was another formidable player in the mix, Germany's Rheinmetall. Again, a well-established player. The bidding went down to the wire. Australia's opposition personally endorsed Rheinmetall, the German company. But Canberra decided to go the other way. And they realized this might not sit well with Berlin. Rheinmetall said it was disappointed. An Australian minister tried to contain the damage. He said Australia will keep talking with Germany. Let me quote from what he said. We'll continue to engage with the government of Germany on that. We are very hopeful that will continue. And that may continue. But in this round, Berlin has lost to Seoul. A few years ago, this would have been hard to imagine. Australia choosing Asian weapons over Western hardware. But it's happening. This deal signals intent. South Korea wants to become a major arms supplier. In recent years, there have been a bunch of big deals. In 2021, Seoul's defense exports doubled from about $3.2 billion to close to $7 billion, 2021. Then 2022 was a banner year. Do you know how much business South Korea did? Last year, they earned more than $17 billion from weapons exports. So the sales doubled again. And let me say this, Seoul is not even selling weapons to Ukraine. South Korean weapons have their own market. How did this happen? How did South Korea take this lead in the global arms bazaar? Well, this is a story of self-reliance. South Korea began building up its defense industry in the 1970s. The decision was primarily driven by fear. Seoul was worried about the North. It wanted to keep its guard up against Pyongyang. It also did not want to depend on powers like the US all the time and beyond a point. So the government invested in defense sectors. Weapon makers were given generous loans and tax breaks. A new industrial policy was introduced. It encouraged development of sectors which promoted the concept of dual use, meaning technology that can be used for civilian purposes and for military. These were areas like steel making, shipbuilding, and electronics. Dual use. All of them have military applications. And that's how South Korea built up its defense industry. Now they're making money off it. Korean K-2 tanks, Chunmoo rocket launchers, K-9 self-propelled howitzers, and the F-A-50 fighter aircraft are much sought after in the international market. And which countries are buying these weapons? The Philippines, Indonesia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Poland. Hanwha Aerospace, the company that just bagged the deal in Australia, is a giant. It is well known for its howitzers. These guns command a 55% share of the global market, 55%. So South Korea is a serious player. And also a good case study for India because Seoul is on course to becoming a formidable competitor for New Delhi. You see, India too is trying to ramp up its defense exports, and Korea presents a challenge. I'll give you an example. Earlier this year, Malaysia announced a deal. It decided to buy 18 South Korean fighter jets. The deal was worth $920 million. Guess who else was trying to bag it? India. New Delhi had made a pitch for the Tejas. These jets are made by the state-owned company HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. And India's pitch was quite attractive. Reports say, along with the jets, India also offered to set up a maintenance, repair and overhaul complex. They also offered aviation management courses. And they were ready to sign up to make some parts of the jet in Malaysia. All of it was on offer, but the Malaysians were not sold. To them, the Korean offer seemed better, and they took it. And to be honest, India still has a lot of catching up to do, but they must do it fast. You see, the global arms bazaar is opening up. There are more opportunities than before. And there is space for countries like India and South Korea. They provide effective weapons, comparable technology at competitive prices. But there is less time to fully capitalize on this opportunity. If India wants to compete seriously, it must watch out for the Koreans.